Hi there folks, Brian the Blob here, and this is part 5 of my tutorial on building the wool game. So in this episode we are going to connect up the rails from this bunker that we built last time, the pink wool bunker. We're going to connect the rails up to the adjacent bunkers and get the system going. So let's get started. So if you remember, we have the diagram over here of the layout, the schematic, and so the pink bunker is going to connect across the top to the orange bunker. It's going to connect down into the center for the blue bunker, and it's going to connect down to the green bunker in the other corner. So this line down here will be the central one. This line here will be the one going down into the far corner of the arena, and this is the one that is going to go across to the bunker over here. So we actually don't have a circuit connect to in this corner, so we're just going to leave this one as it is, but we can connect up the other two. And so to do that, we just simply take this out and basically lay track. So I've been thinking a bit about how this is actually going to work in the real survival world, and one of the things that I'm a little bit concerned about is that mobs may get into the tunnels and disrupt the minecarts, and that would be a bit of a problem. So I've been thinking about how to have a solution for that, which we'll cover in a little bit. But right now what I want to do is just kind of estimate here. See, we've got the powered rail here, the powered rail there. I'm thinking that one powered rail in the center should be, in the middle of this line, should be good enough. When I say one powered, I mean really a double powered line here. Like so. So we can test this one out. Just get a minecart and give it a push and follow it through. So there it goes up to the top. Nothing to unload because it was empty, but now it goes in to collect. And I've actually been running some of these other minecarts and putting wool in some of these other stations, so there's something for it to pick up there. And out it comes. Yep, seems to be plenty of power to get it through. So, and now it goes up to the top, and now it's unloading. And if you notice that not only is its circuit lit, but also the neighboring circuit is lit, so that we have removed power from the hopper there to allow the wool to go through. Now it's doing the pickup, and there we go. So it is quite happily running now between those two stations. So next up is going to be the long haul down to the south. And so for this we are just going to connect from here down to here. Okay. So we just need to run. I think what the best thing to do, at least in creative mode here, is to put down just regular rail, and then we'll estimate where the powered rail needs to go. I think for the long haul it's probably going to be about 2 sections we'll want to make sure that we make it that whole distance. So we probably get a better idea if we come up here. Yeah, I'm thinking so about two thirds, a third of the way down, and then another third. So it's probably, yeah, let's just do it in here and light that up, and then halfway from there to there, maybe about here, And light that up. And put a cart on. And give it a push. And we can follow it down. Up it goes. Unloads. And now we'll do the pickup. Nothing to pick up. And so just race it down here. There we go. Well, it certainly did that okay. And coming out. Oh, looks like there's stuff to pick up there. Yep. So, as you can see, I have other carts running on the other rails. There it goes. And yep, we got plenty of power to get back that way. Excellent. So we could just have a, well, we could go this way. Whoops. Have a peek down here. And in here is, oh, look at that incoming green wool. This is the pink wool station. Let's just drop 61 in there. And we can pick up the wool that's here. Okay, that's now depositing pink wool. And we could go visit this one. Where? Okay, here it is. Drop in some blue wool, pick up the green and magenta wool. And visit this one. Of course, in the real thing, it would be running. There we go. And we need some magenta in that one. And I think this one over here is yellow wool. Yeah, this is the yellow station. And it's got some green and magenta from the neighboring stations. So there we go. It certainly seems to be behaving as expected. See, my flying ability is somewhat lacking. We can throw in some green wool. Take the remaining wool. So there we are. That is the basis of the game. But this is the blue wool station, so we want to drop in some blue wool. We have magenta wool arriving. Excellent. Yeah, so the issue that I was thinking was, you know, if mobs get in and they disrupt the minecarts, how would we know? And so I've come up with a design for a control panel which basically monitors the game. And the design is up at the far end there, but before we go there, I just wanted to point out, I noticed when I was testing this earlier that the minecart between these two central stations was being pretty quick, and so, you know, the time between these two is fairly short. So I put in this extra little bit of a loop here to slow that one down, because what I didn't want is players just running between these two bunkers to score points. You know, I actually wanted to induce something of a delay, so that was there. I don't know if it's really long enough to make it more comparable with the other lines, but certainly something to consider. So yeah, the problem that I was thinking about was, you know, how would you know if there was not a, you know, if there's a truck not running? And so what I wanted to do was to have a display that kind of represented the track. And so my first attempt at this was to So the idea was to have basically some kind of indicator light that would light up when a truck ran over that section of rail. And so by using powered rail here, I could light it up, but I wasn't very pleased with the this would be quite big, and it's on the floor, so if you're at ground level it's kind of difficult to see. So I tried going for a smaller version. Yeah, I wasn't sure, and then tried wiring it up, and of course, again, that was a little bit tricky. But then I thought, well, what if we did a vertical one? And so I came up with this design, which looks kind of cool, but also cryptic, unless you know what you're looking at. Of course, the stations are kind of represented by the pink wool, by the different colored walls. And then each line is between two stations is represented by a torch. So this bottom torch here, it represents the line between the green and the yellow bunkers. This torch here between the yellow and the purple. The center torch between the two center bunkers here, the purple and the blue. And so, that was the display. So I'm actually representing all 9 lines between all of the torches here. But the thing is, how do you kind of measure or detect if the trucks are the minecarts are running like that? And so with a detector rail, of course, you can get a pulse. And if I have a quick demonstration here, this torch here is out. But if I were to click this button, you'll see it comes on briefly and then off, because that's wired up to do so. But what I did was I came up with an idea with, hey, how about if we can latch the result? So this lever allows us to latch the result, meaning that when you get a pulse, it starts off as off, but when you get a pulse, it will light and then it'll stay lit. And so what we can do is actually use the lever to lock the results, so that if you start with them all off and then you flip the lever, then as the minecarts go over their tracks, these will light up and show that that particular line is active. And hopefully, within a 20-30 second period, you'll be able to tell if there's a problem on the line, and then know which line to go and walk to find out what the problem is. And then, of course, flipping the lever the other way just removes that lock, and the lights go back out again. And this was done very simply with, so actually I've only got the one wired up at this point for the demonstration. But the lock was basically just using a gated latch and an AND gate. So, in other words, the signal that comes through is just a pulse like that, because that's what the detector rail is going to give you. But what we wanted to be able to do was to latch that value. And so by using a gated latch, which when the pulse comes through, what we wanted to have is to have that pulse activate this repeater here, which will latch the result. So we're putting it through a vertical AND gate here. So the lever is going to enable that function by being one side of the AND gate, and then the second side is going to be activated when the pulse goes through from the signal line. So if we activate that and we pulse, oh, that was totally unprofessional. Yeah, if we put a button back on the wall and we click that there, now you'll see that output has been latched, and that'll remain so with no effect on the other side of the circuit. Again, yeah, I'm really beginning to like these latched gates. The latched repeater functionality can be very, very useful. And then, of course, when you release the lock, we're good to go. So there you go. That's I guess it's a short episode today, but that's the plan. Is we're going to put a display like this somewhere underground, which will be the control panel for the game, and we'll be able to monitor the lines, and obviously have access tunnels to be able to walk the tracks and fix any problems that may have occurred. But with that, I am going to close this episode down, and next episode, I think, is going to be a complete build of this final station, but in fast forward. So until then, see you later.